Welcome back to the vlog and welcome here to a windy day, windy afternoon here in Wewak, Papua New Guinea. My name is Ryan. It's 2 in the afternoon and we are heading out to Sino, an hour flight, an hour back, so it's going to be a longer day today. Let's get started. Igniter's on, fuel pump on, and low start. Fuel's on over 14%. Introduce my fuel. And nothing too special about that start. Generator on, prop forward or V2 on. Yeah, it is crazy windy for here. Not anywhere else, but for here it's pretty windy. It's like 25 knots on final about a half hour ago, and maybe about a 13 knot crosswind. So yeah, it was a pretty good strong crosswind. Lots of wind shear over top of these trees coming off the ocean behind me. Alright, I've got 540 kgs of fuel, 1,060 pounds of fuel. I need to put in 1190 for my cargo weight. Oh, but I do have minus 50 seats. So actually 1080. Be right at 6,800, which it is, that's good. All stations Wewak, Kodiak November Tango, Kilo, taxi runway 28 for departure to the west. We'll be on climb 12000, all stations Wewak. I get my taxi light on as we taxi out. Yes, I've been working on this over here, you guys can see, for like a year and a half. And they finally just got the chip seal down. Not exactly sure on all of what they're exactly doing, but I believe they're also extending the runway, I believe, so they can get the 737s in here and make it into like an official international airport once they make a new terminal and whatnot as well. Well, I'm thankful that it's such a beautiful day out. Like I said, I'm starting pretty late in the afternoon to be heading all the way into the upper Sepik. It's 2 o'clock right this minute, and yeah, it's an hour flight up, probably take an hour or maybe a half hour on the ground to get loaded up, passengers, and empty what cargo I do have. Today I've just got a couple of big fuel drums on board. Alright, it is clear on the left and clear on the right. Moresby 1267, November Tango Kilo, taxi.
November Tango Kilo, Moresby, go ahead.
November Tango Kilo, taxi, Wewak, Sino, 1 POB.
November Tango Kilo. Copy the taxi now, report the traffic.
November Tango Kilo. If you guys can see it over there, the windsock is just whipping back and forth, basically in line with the runway to a full-on crosswind with the runway. So my plan for takeoff is once I get airborne, I'm going to basically speed up till I'm about 85 before I start climbing out. Because right about the treetop levels is when I'm going to get a pretty decent amount of wind shear probably. Considering I added a lot of it on the way in here, so I bet it will probably be died down by the time I get back here at probably 4:30 or something like that, probably about that time. High idle, we're 34 degrees at sea level, so 1470 for 1520. Mission condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. We'll do our aileron correction. 1470. There's torque is set. Airspeed's already alive. There's 50. There's 64. Let's hold it on the ground for a second. And then just hold it right here until I get up a little bit faster. Look how much crab angle I already have. Alright, there's 85. We'll climb out now quickly so I can get up and over top of all the wind shear. Not bad. Climbing at 1,500 to 1,700 feet per minute, and I'm not even at my best angle of climb. That's pretty crazy. And a pretty decent load up too. Now that we're at 700 feet, let's just pitch on over. 700 feet by pretty much almost the end of the runway. That's pretty good. We're being at like 6,800 pounds. I've also got 19 knots of headwind, so that helps, and 14 knots of direct crosswind. We'll go 20 degrees of flaps, or 10 degrees of flaps. 0 degrees, bring our prop on back to 2,000 RPM. Engine inlet back to normal, igniters are turned off. We can go ahead and start turning out to match up with our course. Morsby 126.7 November Tango Kilo departure.
November Tango Kilo, must be ahead.
November Tango Kilo departed WEWAC 05 on climb 12000. Tracking 255, estimating overhead Arcasame 32.
November Tango Kilo 12000, no report of traffic error, KNH 1006 and HF 8819 now.
No traffic 1006, 8819er, secondary November Tango Kilo. Alright, we'll just punch through all these clouds. We're well over any mountains around here. The highest one is right about here with the tower over there. And I think it's like at 1,900 feet. So the next highest mountain is going to be up here in another 20 or so miles at 4,000 feet. So we'll be clear to go through these just fine. Bump our ITT just a 720 so we can get our max climb performance. And then also we are going to pitch for 100 knots. That's going to be my best rate of climb. I'm going to be able to get up to my altitude the fastest and cool the interior off. It's only 98 degrees in here right now, so the faster I get up there, the nicer it's going to be. Thankfully the weather should hold off all the way up until the evening and go on into the evening nice and clear here, which is awesome, which is actually pretty rare this time of year. It's rainy season, and typically all these mountain ranges I'm coming through right here, I mean, it has some clouds here, but they're not really built up yet. I mean, they're only up to maybe 4,000, 5,000 feet, or typically they'd be at like 40,000 or 50,000 feet at this time of day. Well, that one right here in front of me, that looks to be maybe, I don't know, 15,000 feet. I'm going through 5,000. No, it's higher than that. It's probably 20,000. I'll give us some nice big bumps, but I'm too lazy to fly over there. Turn our landing light off now. We can throw our engine inlet to bypass. And I'll just lower the nose just a tiny bit. Get our speed up to 115. Spinning on it, I don't think there's going to be that many bumps in here actually, because I'm seeing a couple tiny light holes through here, so I don't think it's that really long, but if it was, I would want to speed up just a tiny bit because your airspeed fluctuates so much sometimes through these huge buildups. So like 15, 20 knots will just instantly just throw you all over the place. So yeah, looks like I just found the hole inside of it. That's pretty awesome. Our engine inlet back to normal because it doesn't look like we're going to go through any rain or anything like that. Looks like there might be some sprinkles down at the bottom, but I don't think we're going to get any. I absolutely love flying around clouds. I would say that's probably my favorite thing about flying, is just flying really close to clouds and just all the definition and how quickly they grow and everything. If you agree, give this video a thumbs up. Like, there's nothing better than having those kinds of views right there. That's awesome. Wow, that is quite the view. If you're in the market for some sunglasses and you like this style, check out my webpage below. I've got them back in stock now. They're metal frame with glass lenses. They're non-polarized, so they don't mess you up with any of your G1000 screens and whatnot. I really like them. They're scratch resistant. I've had no issues with them whatsoever. I've been wearing them for quite a few months now. But anyways, check them out down below if you are interested. And if you I think we can just pop right in through this one. It looks like there might potentially be a hole through here. Maybe not. We'll see. But I do like to actually fly IMC when I am by myself. It just gets me back into it a little bit more. I don't really like flying with passengers in IMC just because it's just pretty rough sometimes. And a lot of people just aren't very comfortable flying anyways. So then to throw them through a bunch of kind of stormy weather and stuff can be pretty scary for some. So for the most part, I try to stay VMC as much as I possibly can whenever I have passengers and stuff. When I'm out here by myself, on days like this, I like punching through a lot of different stuff. For one, just to kind of feel where my comfort level is, what I feel comfortable flying through, because yeah, I just won't fly through anything. I have flown through a lot of stuff and then thought, oh man, I don't think I'm gonna do that again. That was a little scary. So anyways, I do like flying through IMC stuff just to get an idea of what it's like, what to expect, what the feelings are going to be like, how the plane handles and how the plane reacts, and if there's ever, like, we've had it to where it's been raining so hard that our air data computer kind of crapped out for a minute and lost a lot of different things that it needed. So those are really good things to know when you're kind of going in, what to expect. Oh, it wasn't as far as I thought. Yeah, those are really good things to kind of practice and kind of feel out on your own when you're not having passengers, so that if those things do happen and you're out by yourself, you know, oh, this is what I actually need to do. So if something like that were to happen, yeah, if I did have too much rain in the pitot tubes, that's why I always flip them on. My pitot heat when I am going through rain and stuff, it's supposed to help keep your airspeed indications a little bit more accurate. But what I do is hit my sensor. You can switch to the ADC2, which is the Air Data Controller 2, and then your AHRS as well to switch over. So you do have backups, and then I think we're actually going to be, our company's actually going to be putting in a secondary standby static port down here that we can also flip. In case both of those are not working properly, then we'll still have a static source inside the aircraft. It'll be a little bit off, but it's better than losing a few of your gauges. And while we're up here, we're just going to go ahead and throw in my descent profile, but let's go ahead and bring up the strip chart so I can see what I'm going at. So we are heading to Sino today, and the elevation is just 100 feet. It's super flat, it's super long, and it usually looks like a golf course. To put that in, we're going to hit flight plan button here, hit our cursor button, come on down to our altitude and put in 1100 feet. Enter, come on down here. I'm by myself today, so I'm going to come down at 900 feet per minute. And typically if we'd have passengers, I would come down at 500 feet per minute. Just in case anybody had a cold or anything else, that's just, 500 feet is just going to give them a little bit nicer transition from 12,000 feet all the way down. Well, after sharing with you guys just about the ADC, the air data computer, as well as the AHRS, I figured there's going to be a million questions in the comments below on what that is. So I opened the book so that I can tell you word for word it is, so that no guru out there is like, that's not what it is, because you know they're out there. So anyways, this is the air data computer, all right? It receives the standard inputs from the pitot-static system as well as the outside air temperature. Inputs from the probes located on the top of the fuselage, which are just like right up here. And the air data computer allows the system to automatically perform most E6B calculations, including airspeeds, winds aloft, density, altitude. So that's how I get all this little stuff up here, my airspeeds and stuff like that. So that's what that is right there. And then my AHRS. So I just pulled the circuit breaker so I could show you exactly what it looks like. So right now it automatically goes to AHRS 2. So let's hit AHRS 1. And I lose my attitude indicator. And let's see. Basically my TAWS, I lose that. I still have my airspeed, obviously. I still have my altitude, obviously, because those are pitot-static stuff. Well, not obviously, not everybody knows that, but anyways. Then I lose like no wind data and stuff like that. So anyways, actually here we go. Let me hit it again. Heading, none, roll none, pitch none. So there you go. Just reset that, click it back in. So that's what you basically lose. If you go through super, super heavy rainstorms, those are some things that you can lose, which can be kind of scary if you lose your air data computer 1 and 2, and your AHRS 1 and 2 isn't working properly, and you don't have an attitude indicator on here. You've got your standby over here, but it also runs off of your secondary. So if you're losing both of them from heavy rain, that's why typically I try to stay VMC with passengers and not have to deal with the kinds of stresses that would add with passengers. Close to these clouds, you can just see how quickly they're building sometimes. It's just unreal.
Vertical track.
That's Betty letting me know it's time to head on down. We put in 900 feet per minute, so let's start our descent down to 900 feet. We'll also turn my altitude select all the way down to pattern altitude of 1100. Then also put a little bit of left rudder trim in here. Just as our speed's increasing, we don't have as much lift and everything, all of our P factors. We're going to basically take some of the right rudder we had out, or think of it putting it in to the left. Now that we're in our descent, we'll start up our checklist. If you guys want to pick one of these up for yourself, I have the newer version. This is just the one we have already. I've got really nice ones on my website. Check it out. These things are so nice. I used to be anti-checklist and stuff until I came here, and then I realized, wow, they actually can save lives, and I'll get into that in just a minute. Selectors and brakes are good. Our TAWs, we'll get here in a minute as we get down a little bit closer. Because my head's down and stuff, I don't want to turn off my TAWs yet. Our VREF, which is our approach speed, we're 6,500 pounds, so let's do 60 knots for our approach speed. Oh, that thing is too low. I'm wrong. 71. I was like, that's way too slow for this kind of weight. Lights and inlet, we can land our landing light on. Once we get below 140 knots, then we'll do our engine inlet. It's just too much speed and it's too hard on the actuators and stuff in there. We've screwed one up before years past, so we keep it below 140, and that's why. You're not going to find it anywhere in the Kodiak manual. It's just that's what we've decided as a company, because we don't want to have to replace the little actuator rods in there anymore from getting bent from actuating too fast. Port, we'll talk about that probably when we get a little bit closer into the pattern. Prop and harness, we'll do again in the pattern. Pretty much everything else we will. So let me tell you a story about why these things are so nice. So years ago, I was working as an A&P in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and another mechanic was adjusting a 172 RG, a retractable gear, and he was adjusting the squat switch. And they wanted me to fly it because basically once you pull it back below a certain manifold pressure and blah, 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 it's supposed to let you know that you have forgot to put your gear down. Well, it wasn't quite adjusted right, and I had flown it like 4 times or something that day, and this was the last time. It was just like jump up into pattern, fly back around, and adjust it. You can't really adjust it because it's the manifold pressure and blah, blah, blah. But anyways, basically, I was in a hurry. It was the very last landing of the day. It was already like nearly time to walk out the door for work. And I'm in the flare, and I look out, and I notice my gear wasn't down. And so I quickly powered up, threw my gear down, and landed safely. But I mean, I was like seconds away from just, you know, getting into a little stall and bonk right on the belly. Where if I would have had something like this that I could have just quickly looked up, and yeah, you've got, you know, all these other paper checklists and stuff, but these things are so handy because as your eyes are up and out, you can just quickly glance over there and go, oh man, I forgot to flip off my gear. So I've got these things for general aviation, for piston airplanes as well as turbine ones, that you could use basically in a 152 all the way up to like a Baron or a Cessna 421, something that has a couple engines and gear and everything else. So I really think that they're like a game changer when it comes to safety, especially with single pilot. So you guys will be hearing more about that because I really am excited about it, and I really think that it can really increase safety, like in all of aviation, having something as simple as this. So go check it out. You'll probably get tired of me telling you about it, but you'd probably rather me talk about and promote something that's aviation related than to be selling VPN, having like VPN commercials where I'm trying to sell you a thing on VPNs or Squarespace or whatever else. So anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. All stations Sino, Kodiak November Tango, Kilo 15 miles to the east, passing 6,700 on descent. Circuit time, Sino 58. Let's quickly look to see. We're going to be landing on runway 33 today. Orsby 1267, November Tango Kilo in the circuit Sino, cancel SAR. Orsby 8819er, November Tango Kilo in the circuit Sino, cancel SAR. November Tango Kilo. All Station Casino, November Tango Kilo in the circuit. We'll be joining into a left downwind runway 33, Sino. Wow, it's super hazy and muggy out today, that's for sure. All right, check my brakes one more time. We've got our throttle turned off, our lights and inlets. Now we are down to 140. Bring my torque all the way back, pitch up so I can get my speed all the way bleeding off. Top and harness, done. SAR is done. Below 138, 10 degrees of flaps. We'll fly overhead, take a look at it. It's always so bright and green grass too here. It looks like they've done some work, cleared out on each side of the runway. Oh, that's nice. It's usually like down inside the canopy nearly. It's, wow, they did a lot of work. Good job. Landing on runway 33. Quickly just throw up my OBS to 33. 8 degrees of flaps. A turn final 600. Turning base 800. 181 knots on base, 71 on final. 91 on downwind. At 1.6 nautical miles, we'll turn our base. There we go. Up on down to 600 feet. And slow on down to 81 knots. 10 knots of wind. Wow, that's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen 10 knots of wind out here this low. There's full flaps. The checklist is complete, so I can verify that I am good to go.
500.
And slowing on down to 71 knots. 11 knots. I might actually take off this way today. This is unreal for here. Really pretty approach though, coming over this little lake. Here's our 71 knots. We're getting down below the canopy at 6 knots on the nose, or the head, whatever you want to call it. We're continuing. Still 6 knots, wow. I think that's the longest I've ever been in ground effect. All right. Oh yeah, they did a lot of work cutting all those trees down on the side. So I think they had a runway inspection with the RAA out here recently, and that's probably what they told them to do. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me on that flight. Sure do appreciate you guys' support, giving me thumbs up and comments and all that great stuff. Be sure to subscribe too if you haven't already. I was saying, I've got a couple products on my website if you guys are interested in sunglasses or getting one of these checklists for yourself. Highly recommend it. If you're a flight school and you want to get some, I'll give you a discount. Contact me, I'll give your flight school a discount so you guys can get hooked up with these things, because I really do believe in them. All right, thanks again you guys. See you next time.